Darren, I've been looking forward to you coming on and sharing your thoughts. Obviously, you started Blair Property Group 12 months ago. You came out with the first project, Louise, and have put it over the back fence, mate. What a start.
Yep.
You know, what's driven that kind of success and you know, what do you think has really, you know, made it work so well?
So I think, for taking a step back, coming out of a corporate role in the project marketing space and into a project like Louise was, something fantastic. But, I think one thing I'll say is that, this might sound a bit corny, but certainly teamwork has made Louise work really well. From Sarah Stribley and the architects, designing a building that is attractive to a lot of people, and a lot of people find that it's a home that they want to end up buying in, both investors, both owner-occupiers. It's appealed to a variety of different purchasers. The Samuel team, working with them has been really good. We've had a really agile approach. We've changed floor plans, we've changed floor plates. We've really tried to make the building agile enough to find buyers when buyers haven't been there, whether it's amalgamating apartments, whether it's changing two bidders into one bidders, but at the same time maximizing revenue, which we've actually done. We've actually increased the revenue by about 10 or 12% since launching the project, in addition to obviously keeping up the sales rates. Keeping up the sales rates is obviously important, and we've had a really good blend of retail campaigning with owner-occupiers buying, but we've also had some really good support from various channels and groups that have brought their buyers that we wouldn't have uncovered as part of the process. Urban's been a big part of that project. We've had a lot of inquiry from there. We actually, haven't been on all the portals like, general sort of marketing of a project like this would be. We've actually been quite particular about how we do things. The creative team's been fantastic, so we've had brilliant creative, which has allowed for very strong cost per lead and good lead generation through the project itself.
I'd say you're definitely one of the most tech-savvy project marketers in the market. Obviously, we talk to everybody, but certainly from a CRM and digital perspective, that's really kind of your native strength. How do you see kind of the role of what's actually important today versus perhaps 10 years ago in project marketing?
For sure. So, I've played my part in portals in the past and, digital marketing and marketing agencies. So, bringing some of that skill set into a sales-driven part of the sort of value chain is important. And I think that, from my perspective, it plays an integral part. Where I think technology is super important is, I think that the buyer journey is changing. I wouldn't say gone are the days of, hard phone calling 24 hours a day, calling 25 times. I really feel that there's an element of marketing automation that comes into the whole journey itself. And I think that any project marketer that's not using a really strong project marketing automation strategy really needs to consider how they're doing things. The reason why I say that is because often people want to engage in different ways and have touch points in different ways, whether it's SMS, whether it's email, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's phone calls, and sort of being able to bring these all together in a full sort of touch point and communication journey to the purchaser, I certainly believe has a better result in the long term than just one-dimensional selling.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like as always with these things, the pendulum can sometimes swing, and certainly from building my own companies, I've found sometimes we get caught in a trap of like automate too much or automate not enough. I think, as you say, it's kind of about continuing to making the calls, but doing it in a speedy way, but also having the technology support. And I think you can't have one or the other. Increasingly, you've got to have both.
I completely agree. I think it comes down to, it's not taking away. I do believe that, human-to-human interaction, especially with owner-occupiers that are looking to touch and feel the product, it's important that you get them down to display if you have one, or get them into your office. But that you'll never be able to take away from, I don't believe. But at the same time, I say that, and interestingly enough, my last 3 sales at Louise have been offshore. Now, not offshore by, some other investment channel or anything like that. Owner-occupiers that are buying, that are moving back to Australia, that are living in either London or New Zealand, they're moving here in the next 2 years and have bought sight unseen. Now, that actually is testament to that it can be done in a way where you're bringing in technology, whether it's virtual meetings, things like that, virtual walkthroughs online, all that sort of thing plays a massive part. They're not actually having to do some of the face-to-face stuff that was done in the past. So I think the world is changing, but I do think that there is always that element of the traditional that will allow or be there. But at the same time, I do think that tech enablement within agency environment is important.
Obviously, the success of Louise is well documented, certainly on urban.com.au. I'm sure you've got plenty of options in terms of what you do next after delivering in a tough market for Samuel.
Yep.
What's next for you? Have you got another project in mind, or what type of thing are you looking for?
Yep. So my next project that will be launching off the plan is 34 apartments in Caulfield North. We're in the final stages of just wrapping a bow on all the marketing efforts on that one. But, for me, what I'm looking for next is, working with a developer that is agile, that is willing to, really come to the party in terms of really working out how we get a good result together, because I think that building that relationship is important for me. Looking to take on maybe 1 or 2 more projects by the end of the year that sort of fit the bill. And I do find that finding projects that have a diverse range of potential buyers, but also being able to hone in on different segments within that is, key to success, I should say. Whether it be, what we did at Louise, we focused on essential workers and, nurses at the Alfred, because the Alfred's across the road. And we got, a huge influx of inquiries because all of our targeting efforts for that particular month focused on that. We focused on downsizers, regional downsizers, and we've had a lot of bolt-hole buyers come into the market. So for me, finding a project that is in tune with those sort of metrics and those things would be important to me.
Well, congratulations, mate. It's been an awesome success, great first project, and a hell of a start for Blair Property.
For sure.
Awesome to have you on board, mate. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.